I just finished making a video, Emergency Followers. The only platform on facial recognition, shadow ban, worldwide on every social media platform. I want you to listen carefully. NSA is watching me 24/7 with the camera coming on non-stop, right? I'm sitting under Interpol on 24-hour watch. On 24-hour watch. There's a reason for that. And there's a reason why I'm being so heavily suppressed. I want you to think about something for a moment, okay? Okay, and this might be hardcore stuff, but it's the way you have to see it. You have to see it for the way it is. I've left my mark on earth like no other human being on earth ever has, right? Listen to my #1 video. Make sure you understand what I'm about to tell you, okay? Plato's the greatest philosopher of all time. They were studying the human conditioning. The human conditioning is what we suffer from today all over the world. A syndrome the whole world is in right now in post-human stage. Now that's warned in Revelation that every person in the world will be deceived except for the elect, and only the witness will teach the resurrection of humanity from the post-human stage. The world was declared to be in post-human stage in 1909. The last human being was born in the outback of Australia in 1960. Osprey refers to a certain process, a very specific process. No other human being on earth was put through. No other human being on earth has ever walked my footsteps. That's a guarantee. No man on earth can challenge this. There isn't one person in the world qualified to challenge me. Now, Plato describes the human condition, and every philosopher ever since only been footnotes of Plato. Jeremy Griffiths, the #1 biologist moving the world transformation movement, who wrote the book Freedom, The Cure of the Human Condition that's going to save humanity. The holy grail of understanding yourself biologically. This is the first time this has been discovered in human history, right? We're trapped inside our mind with voices in our mind that are ultimately designed for human extinction. That's one revelation in the skull by John, right? It's all in the mind, the mindset we live in, all in the skull, right? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Because that's what's declared by Jeremy Griffiths, the top biologist in the whole world. Dr. Bruce Lipton says your placebo effect is 10 times more powerful than reality. That's your face system. That's to think instinctively. They know that. They told you that in the Matrix documentary with Keanu Reeves, who represents a person who can think instinctively, who's a spiritual person that has superhuman abilities compared to anyone else does. Free from amnesia and the reincarnation trap, right? So you go through the death experience. So Keanu Reeves represents a person who's a mastermind who can master his mind. So the mind doesn't master him because everybody else is mastered by the mind with voices in their mind. Like robots to fact check Google themselves with a high IQ. That only makes them good at what they do, but in fact not intelligent. So the most intelligent people in the world are the ones with a light bulb idea. The light bulb idea, the picture that tells you 1,000 words, dimensional thinking, remote viewing, looking from the outside in instead of the inside out. That's what all you do. You're stuck in your mind. You're trapped inside your mind where you judge, analyze, and get analyzed. So you're stuck in a trap, in a reincarnation trap. And you've got to wake up from this, right? To break free from amnesia. That's what Jesus did. He broke free from amnesia, right? And he was put through a certain process for 17 years of the footsteps he wanted you to follow. They removed from the Bible. Enoch was represented in the future and came back in spirit to teach him how to do that. I've gone into all those explanations. Then he takes 12 people and breaks them free from amnesia over a period of 7 years so they can do what he can and more. There's certain people like Bruce Lee who can move 7 times faster than you can think by the time he was 24. Okay, you could fight 7 people with black belt karate, blindfolded, and you could feel every single thing and block every punch. You could levitate a person with a short blow 9 feet into midair into a swimming pool, double his body weight. He could beat one of the top table tennis players in the world, top tennis players, with a pair of nunchucks with that kind of precision. And that's a natural organic motor skill that you have that's been stripped from you. You can only use your instincts 1 to 5%, but when you think instinctively 95 to 99% of the time, you think outside the mind. Yin and yang, 6 and 9. You live in the dark tunnel all the time, looking to go to the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, but you're living in a dark tunnel of the tree of knowledge of all things good and evil. So you think all the time critically and literally with a high IQ. You think you're so sophisticated with all your engineering and sophisticated knowledge and all your education. You think you're something special, like a robot, like a homotech baby, like a robot, like a zombie who becomes more dormant every day because you can't feel the truth. You can only think about it and come to your own conclusion with reasoning. And then you have 2 voices in your mind that tells you do it, or don't do it. And you give consent to those voices. That's how the devil controls the whole world. That's how the devil took possession of every single person on the planet, right? Because the voice in your mind is ultimately designed from an extinction declared in documents by Jeremy Griffiths and the top biologists in the whole world. Think outside the mind, that's where freedom is, and the liberation. To think with the mind is to think outside the mind. It's a spiritual thinking, it's instinctive thinking, they know that. And then you go through the death experience, and then you break free from amnesia and discover who you are and what here in the meaning of life is. Who do you think's really been reborn here in the world? Born again is going through another rabbit hole in the tunnel. And there's plenty of rabbit holes. You're in a long, dark tunnel. When you stick your head through the light of the end tunnel, right, you understand what real freedom is, and you understand the resurrection. The Bible says you must understand the resurrection. You must cross over. You must go for the rebirth. Rebirth. To be born again, right? Not to be born again, but to be reborn. The rebirth. There's a big difference between rebirth and born again. Born again is going through another rabbit hole when you start to have faith psychologically and mentally. But when you rely on everything mentally consistently, and you can't use your natural organic motor skills to think instinctively and think outside the mind, you have no idea what you're doing. You don't understand metaphor at all. When you read a Bible, it's only the paragraph that you feel with your instincts that gives you the light bulb idea, the picture that tells you 1,000 words, dimensional thinking. And when you have no ability to do that, and you keep on thinking about it and come to your own conclusion and pick the paragraph in the Bible that suits you the most consistently, and you can't even live in the post-human stage, you can't even believe that you've all been deceived except for the elect and only the witness will teach the resurrection. You see, the one thing NASA don't want you to know, the one thing the biggest think tank in the whole world does not want you to know is who the witness is. Because the Bible tells you he would be the only one that will resurrect humanity. And you must go through the resurrection, and the only way you can do that is to understand it. You must understand the resurrection. The only way you can understand the resurrection is to stick your head through the light at the end of the tunnel, right? Where the grass is a lot greener and the sun's a lot shinier. Because then you understand what's on the other side and why it's perfect. And when people die and cross over, they don't want to come back. They don't want to come back. You've heard that a million times from people that's crossed over. Died and come back, right? They don't want to come back because it's perfect in a time where time stands still and preserves. And when you understand how to remote view and how to think outside the mind and go into that dimension, you can see everything's perfect and you can understand what heaven's all about and how to bring heaven back to earth. But you don't understand that concept whatsoever, right? That's what the problem is. Only the witness can teach the resurrection of humanity, to have that ability, to use their natural organic motor skills, to be in that image, to be in their primal state in their true gravity, right? With 8 tools of righteousness. And they don't want you to know that. That is the one thing they don't want you to know, because there's no one else in the world teaching it. There isn't one other person in the whole world teaching it. They damn well know who I am, right? I've been dead 3 times and come back. I brought my wife back to life 3 times in front of 7 doctors, and one of the biggest miracles in the world. My DNA structure changed, and they know that. God created the 6 most powerful international events through the AI system and recognition, facial recognition through the Interpol system. That's why I'm the most watched man in the world, because they didn't know what to do when they tried to kill me, and that didn't work neither. That didn't work neither. When they tried to set me up for 3 separate murders, and that didn't work neither. When they unlawfully deported and canceled BF Trans, I came back through the cameras as warned 11 months earlier in writing on official letters. And I did it perfectly. I put the whole system into a glitch on 6 international events with the most powerful evidence ever created in modern history on their own documents by the biggest think tank in the world. And they are suppressing you from the most powerful information that God does exist with the evidence. They have the evidence, and they withhold the evidence because it's all created with me. Every single bit of it is created with me, and there's no other human being on earth like me with this kind of evidence. You can read the documents and FI the documents, because the atheist that wrote this down in the documents, his whole faith system changed. That's why he wrote it on the documents. You see, a lot of police and politicians, their faith system completely changed. They were atheists and changed completely and realized they were listening to the wrong voice in their mind. Just like Einstein did, just like Steve Hawkins, just like Solomon in the Bible, just like 99% of the whole Western civilization, 93% die from stress-related diseases every single day. They all take drugs to numb themselves because they can't cope in life. Why? Because they listen to the voice in their mind. They're listening to the wrong voice, warned in Revelation, warned on the documents in the IPPC reports. I'm the first person in the world in 3,500 years to bring the cure of the human condition into humanity. That's the resurrection. And I'm moving that with Jeremy Gibbs and the top bowlers in the whole world. And I'm being suppressed the most because I'm the only one that knows the tools correctly. And 99% of Christians and religions and pastors and priests, they bag the living shit out of me as well. So does every person in the world. They all throw stones at me just like they threw stones at Jesus. And God knew that. They will all surely be devoured. And there will only be a handful of people that will follow me. It says in the Bible, only a few will be saved.